Good evening, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I was wondering, just looking back, retro thinking about when the great divide, the great divisions in the United States began to appear, and it may have started at the outset of the Obama, or about towards the end of the Obama reign. And it's not my intention to go into the rights and wrongs as if I could, as if I'm educated enough to do that, which I'm not. But of course I have my opinions and my feelings about certain aspects of life as it is unfolding for all of us, me included. So if you remember, it possibly was when President Trump when Donald Trump became, when he started to fight for the presidency, and when he won the presidency. And let's not go into that. Let's say that he's occupied the White House, the Oval Office, for the last 4 years, and now there is a huge battle going on, which people are continuing to be divided on. Well, if you remember when the Great Divide, what I call Great Divide, began to happen, brother was against brother, father was against son, son was against father. The divisions were huge. The breakups were huge, and they were heartbreaking. You know, that was for sure. Well, we are going through a similar thing now, is my take on it, and that is with the present virus scare. And whether you think it's real, whether you think it's a hoax, whether you think that it doesn't belong in any talks about politics, whatever it is that you think, you should be allowed to think and hold sane, civil discourse with your friends, is how I feel. Now, since I've declared the way that I feel that things are going, you know, personally I think that we are witnessing what may well be, not being overly biblical, dramatic, religious, but it seems to me that we are witnessing the final, what could be the final battle between good and evil. However you define those two important forces. Well, I've talked, because I have a platform to do this, I've talked at length, plus I've sent what I think is important, other side of the arguments, pieces of information to people that I care about, and the response is not always as I would hope. Now, if I put something to somebody, then all I'm doing is offering that as a piece of information. Now, what's happening at the moment, perhaps you would agree, you may agree or disagree with the intent as you perceive it behind what is happening, but I think you will agree that we are being censored on what we say, and we are being persuaded, conditioned in what we think. All of the media is choosing to report or not report about certain aspects of what is going on. Now, I suppose the role of any vlogger is to be able to present different ways of looking at what is happening, and that is what my intention has been all along. Not to persuade you one way or the other, but because it's such a one-sided bombardment of information in support of one thing, and very little information being openly allowed on the other. Now I get all kinds of things sent to me, links and videos, comments, letters, and I get a lot. You know, currently, because I keep trying to delete those things which are now out of date, I have about 18,000 emails in my inbox. Now, what I've tried to do in touching on the very touchy subject of COVID, and what I perceive is the hidden agenda. In other words, a little bit like where our attention is being distracted in one way while other stuff is happening. Now, I went to church today to a celebration service of an anniversary of a particular church within the group, within the name of the religion that Beth and I are currently involved in building a church with. And the police arrived and started checking for spacing, social spacing, distancing, masks and stuff like that. And they are coming into the church, interrupting a service and coming into a church. And so that, and together with the fact that in an hour and a quarter drive, maybe even just an hour from our home, we had to negotiate something like 6 checkpoints in the road where we may or may not be stopped. As it happens, we were not stopped by anyone, but they are there and they're watching traffic go through, and they selectively choose and flag someone down and question them and talk to them. Right. Whether that's right or wrong is not the object of what I'm saying. Let me tell you about someone that I know. He is a friend. Now, when I say he's a friend, he's a Facebook friend, and he's also the mutual friend of other people that I know and care a lot about, and do actually know face to face. This man I don't know face to face, and his name is Raymond Harding. Now, you might be shocked that I'm giving out someone's name, but he openly puts his name on, is an unusual person. He's not a troll, you see, and he puts his name onto his comments, and he has been with me, with Beth and I, with us for quite some time. In fact, I think it may well be from almost the beginning. Now the thing is, could I honestly say that I agree with Raymond's viewpoints? On some of the most important political ones, we have no understanding whatever. Now, I have sent to him pieces of information in the form of talks, in the form of videos of various different types, which go against what he firmly in his heart of heart believes to be the truth and the situation. And the last comment that he made, the last response that he made was, I sent him something and he said, I don't understand this. And I messaged him back and I said, maybe you should listen to it again, and then that may help. And he said, I don't want to. Now he is firmly in the camp of the candidate for the presidency, is how I would put it, and that's former Vice President Joe Biden. Now, for the life of me, I can't understand why anybody would do that. But here's the difference. Neither can he understand the viewpoints that I've put to him. Now, I've had several letters from people who didn't understand what my viewpoint on things were. And they were not nice letters. Now, Raymond does not agree. He absolutely vehemently, passionately disagrees with what I am putting forward as my view. Now, here's the difference. And bearing in mind, I've never met Raymond face to face. I only meet him through comments, and for responding to his comments, listening to his viewpoint, and seeing little bits and pieces that he sends. He sends stuff to me, and I respect, even though I don't agree, I respect it. Now here's the difference with Raymond. Raymond is a gentleman. He never disparages me or the fact that I have sent something to him. He says, I don't understand it. It's not, this is, in other words, this is not for me. Now, I tend not to send anything to Raymond now because I know that he is firm in his conviction about Biden. So, what is there to talk about? I respect his opinion. Now, he respects mine, and really that's really all that you need in order to be able later to form any breach, any break in the friendship, such as it is. Now, he looks at what I do on my Quarantine Madness projects, and he either likes it or he doesn't. Actually, most of the time, he's very, very complimentary. So, I can respect him, even though I cannot, for the life of me, agree with what he believes. But that's okay, because at the end of it, we will still be able to be friends. Now, when you say really cruel things to people, these are words that cannot be taken back. You can paper over the cracks. It's Beth's firmly held belief that once the mirror is broken, you can put it back together, you can glue it all back together again, and it will still be a broken mirror. Now, depending on the words that you choose to reject what other people are trying to tell you, then therein lies what the chances are of resuming a good friendship with those people. At one time, actually all my life pretty well, I've always been against drugs. I've never done drugs, and I only ever had a brief young man's bragging and boasting about how drunk I was to experience booze. I used to get drunk and then brag about it the next day about how bad I felt, until after a while I thought, what am I bragging about here? And I stopped, and I've been a non-drinker practically my whole life, and it's cost me, because as a musician, going out with the guys and having a drink and getting a buzz on and then playing, especially if you're a jazz player, it's all part of the deal. But I was put off this when I read a book about a famous black pianist, a jazz pianist called Bud Powell. Bud Powell was a brilliant player, and booze and booze and drugs ruined his life. And that was the case for a lot of people. It ruined it. Why am I telling you this when I've seemingly gotten off the subject again? I'm saying this because the way that I saw things was not the way that other people saw things, or vice versa. The way other people saw things, I didn't see. And when I was listening to a lot of musicians who were telling me what a buzz they had on, I thought, I hear you play better when you're sober. But they didn't think so, and that was their firmly held opinion. And so I didn't get invited to the bar when we got to a drink because they knew that I didn't drink. Why would they invite me there? Hey Terry, you coming over to have a Coke? I don't think so. And people who drink know that they're losing it a little bit by bit, and they don't want a spectator. So it cost me in terms of friendships and comradeship. So with Raymond, I believe that eventually, despite any great disagreements that we might have, because we have respected each other in expressing these differences, what's to stop us from being friends? Now, when I sent stuff to him and he responded by saying, "What the bloody hell do you want to send me this crap for? You must be stupid to believe this." And I respond by saying, "Likewise." That would be a lot of water under the bridge, and we probably would never recover from that. So this is the object of my video. Yes, there is a plan. The object is to suggest that while it may be that you don't want to hear, don't want to see, don't want to look at something that I may send you, or that something you've sent to me is not received in the way that you would like, or not received and acknowledged as being the greatest thing that everybody's ever seen. Why not be gentle with the words? Why not express politely, "This is not for me. I don't agree." No. For me, it's very easy. It's much easier, rather than rear up and react and start saying, "Who are you to tell me?" No. Rather than that, I hope that for everybody that's ever written to me and offered something which I reject, I hope that I've been polite and said, "I don't agree. We'll have to agree to disagree." And that time will tell. That's how I put it. Now, if someone really badly disagrees with me, then time will tell. Eventually, one way or the other, the way that it really is will come to light. It's just inevitable that the truth will actually be revealed. It is being revealed, but at the moment, something that you might want to agree with is that we are being so heavily censored. And this may include something that you think. It certainly often includes something that I think, and that some of my friends have observed. Even though I don't always agree with every one of those friends, they've observed that their comments are being deleted. Now, did we elect those people to delete? No, we didn't. Did we agree to there being censors? No, we didn't. And that is a worrying aspect of the way that our lives globally are unfolding at the moment, because it means that we are not being allowed, we are being impeded from hearing all of the evidence. Show me what's going on, and I'll make up my own mind. If you're a parent and you hear a squabble going on in the next room, and you go in there and you've got two kids who are about to kill each other, you sit them down and you say, okay, right, now, Harry, what happened? Joyce, what happened? You get all of the information, and as a parent, usually you're intuitive enough to be able to say, now, is that everything? Okay, now here's the way that I see it. And you make a judgment. You reach a conclusion based on the information that you can see. Now, if Harry's lying, or Joyce is being economical with the truth, as they say in America, you're not going to get a correct appraisal of what is happening. You can't, because you haven't been given all of the information. And yet here we are as adults in our lives as they unfold, and it has to be agreed that we're not being given all of the information. When someone quotes to me so many thousands of deaths and so many thousands of this and so, I want to know where those figures came from. And that's where science comes in for me too. And I listen to all of the others, people who are giving up their jobs because they're being whistleblowers. For everyone that I hear quoted who is a nurse and seriously involved in COVID deaths, I hear the same number who are saying this is not the way that they tell you it is. So I'm trying to make up my mind, but I would like to have all of the information. And my beef is that I don't think we're being given that information. So let's be open and look at all of the information that we can gather. Now, in creating YouTube, in creating the internet, in creating Facebook, all of those creators created monsters which they are unable ultimately to completely control. And so the information is there, but no one can babysit you. You have to find it all out. And have I found it all out? No. I'm still trying, but I'm open to listening and viewing with respect those things that people would like me to see. If somebody sends me some important information, for instance, about immigration, I put that out. This is what I've been told about immigration. If you're going, and I tell it on an anecdotal level, and then I say, but if you really want to know exactly what's happening, you go to the source, and that is immigration. That way you get the most up-to-date information about what you need to know. Our problem now in looking at what is unfolding in our lives globally, financially, is that it's difficult to get all of the information. And we can't rely on the fake news of unfake, fake, not fake, real, not real, lies, truth. We can't rely on it being always from one source. It has to be from as many sources as we can. Okay, so Raymond, ignore that last one I sent to you, okay? It was a bad one. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for listening to me. I'm trying to encourage people to not to seek any validation or permission from me to do anything, as one of my subscribers suggested that that's what I thought. No, I don't think that I have the right or the authority or even the agreement of anybody to tell them what to think. But it would be nice if everybody continued, whichever is appropriate for you, to find out what is happening as much as they can from as many sources as they can. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.